Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're in episode number 86. My name is Craig Prowse. Joining me, as always, is Mandrew Montemayor. And guys, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts that we finally crossed the 2,000 subscriber finish line. And I gotta say, it feels
Thank
good.
you.
Feels good.
I can't wait to where we can open a bar like Bernie Mac does in that movie Mr. 3000 with his 3,000 home runs. When we hit 3,000 subscribers, that's what we'll do.
Ooh, I would like all of that. It's been a fun and interesting ride, and we're actually, over it now. I think we're at like 2,030 something.
Yeah, it's like 2,000.
It's really cool that we were able to finally do that. That's a pretty good milestone in you and I's, little podcast career here.
I think so. Either way, I'm appreciative of every single person. So thank you guys from the bottom top of my heart.
With the drink of the week, quick, here's to you. Here's to you guys. Now this drink, guys, I actually picked it up. It's the Shiner Bock. We have had it on the show before, so if you guys do feel like drinking along with us, hit pause, go grab yourself a drink, come back in and tag along with us. So this is the Shiner Bock. It sits at 4.4%. It's a Bock single traditional out of the Spotzel Brewery. Now, I wasn't sure what a Bock was. I didn't know that was a type of drink. I guess it's a Bock lager. So looking it up, a Bock is a strong lager of German origins. Several substyles exist, including a male Bock, which is a paler, more hopped version, generally made for consumption at spring festivals. So there's your knowledge for the day, because we have had this before. I like it a lot. You can never go wrong, but when I was looking it up, I'm like, I don't know what Bock falls under. So
I like for them to make a commercial and use like that Eminem song where it's like one shot, two shot, but one Bock, two Bock.
Ooh,
that's where the fun stops. Someone's getting drunk now. I don't know.
It practically writes itself. So drink along with us, guys. That's a fantastic beer. But before we get into the show, let's take a quick moment to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because it really does help us out on YouTube.
Tremendously.
If you guys could follow us on all the social medias you see here, if you want to, that helps us out a lot. You can ask more questions on social media. And if you guys are listening to the audio versions only of this podcast, whether it be on Spotify, CastBox, iTunes, if you can, leave us a nice review, because a review goes a long way.
And make your way over to YouTube too, if you could, and just leave a little bit of love, because it does help us out.
Yeah, leave a little bit of love. So before we get into the stories, we like to know what each other are up to. We like to tell you guys what we've been up to, what we've been playing, what we've been watching. So watching wise, I haven't really done anything out of the ordinary. I'm still catching up on my because since last episode, there was a new episode of Invincible, which is really good. Have you started Invincible yet? I know you're more coherent with it now. You watched some trailers, I think.
It showed up on my YouTube recommended for me feed, so I was like, okay, I'll kind of see what this is all about or whatever.
Dude.
I didn't think it was gonna be like as crazy as what I was watching. I was like, God damn.
Dude, it's and the new episode kind of pushed out further along, and I'm still watching the Young Rock. I don't want to like that show, but for some reason, it's very entertaining, so I've still been watching that. I was trying to fall asleep to a show, and I've been kind of putting My Name is Earl in the background just to kind of, listen to something. Do you ever watch My Name is Earl?
I've seen it before. Christina's on a Fresh Prince before bed kick right now.
Oh, that's not bad. Maybe I should try that. What is that, Hulu or Netflix?
I think that is on, I don't know if it's on Hulu or HBO Max. It's
HBO
on one
Max.
of those two. I know it's not on Netflix. For
Chilling
sure.
out, HBO Max and all cool?
I couldn't think of a line to go with it.
What I've been playing, though, and I know, Andrew, you have done it with me as well because we played together, is Outriders. I'm still playing a little bit of Octopath. I actually was playing it today, but Outriders is taking up my time. It's I have got 2 characters that are over level 18 at this point, and another character, I think it's 7 or 8, that I've been playing with you. This game it's not great. It's not an A by any means. It doesn't stand out and shine in any other direction than it needs to, but it's good at a lot of things. There's a bunch of tweaks that I think need to be made. It had a really bad opening weekend with servers being down. I know you kind of waited the weekend to jump in.
And I even got kicked.
What did you think about your first time in?
It was fun. It's really cool. I think it's one of those games that's, for me, it's like, like Destiny or anything else. It's nothing that I would really kind of play alone. And it's really it's not that the gameplay is like amazing or anything. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it's playing with other people that's fun. Like, that's where I have most of my time. It's just our banter, bullshitting, or we're doing whatever, trying to revive each other, comparing loot. Oh, well, your loot sucks because I did all the work. Just making jokes or whatever. Like, that's where I get all my fun out of that. So, I mean, for me, I think that that's well enough. I would definitely recommend trying it, especially since it is for free.
Yeah, for free. Or at least if you're on Xbox, it's for free. I would say if you've been eyeballing it, I'd say maybe give it the end of the month and then jump in, because I mean, even now we're still playing, and we're playing these big battles, because some of these battles, if you're jumping up on the world tier, can take 20 minutes.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah,
they can take a minute to take out a boss, and if you get booted, it's just a pain in the ass to try to log back in. So I would say, if you haven't started, wait until all the bugs are at least mainly out, because it's gonna make it way more enjoyable, because that has been the biggest hiccup playing this game so far.
I will say so far though, the one thing I do like about it is that I feel like it is diverse in the enemies that you're fighting. There's all kinds of different things so far, that it's not like when I play like Destiny or like The Division, where it's just like humans or just like a stupid fucking orb with like an eye floating around doing whatever. Like, I actually like these enemies that I'm fighting. There's like monsters, people, there's all kinds of weird different shit that I think it's a lot cooler than some of those other things. So I will give it that. Yeah, I do like the diversity, because I get bored really quick killing nameless fucking orb one as it's floating around.
Yeah, what I like about that text, I like that you said that, is because of the power base, like, you do have to switch up your skills. Like, if you're fighting guys with guns that are charging you, there's other skills you want to use against like the beast and wild, mutated creatures that are charging you that don't use bullets. So we sometimes do sit back, pause, change our skills up just to fight new enemies, which is always good, instead of just kind of bulldozing your way through the game. But enough of that, Andrew. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. How's Yakuza 3 going?
It's still going good. I'm doing all the side shit now. I was like, okay, cool, I just want to beat the story, and then maybe I'll go back and do the side stuff later. But the more I started playing, I was like, no, I can't pass up the side stuff, so I'm just doing all the side shit. So I'm like halfway through, I'd probably be done with the main story, but I'm just so busy doing all the little side things.
Nice. So leave us down in the comments, guys, below what you're playing, what you're up to, so we can sit back and have a conversation with you, because Andrew and I are getting, we're noticeable for replying quite quickly to people's comments.
I try to.
So guys, with that being said, let's move into story. The big story, which is that E3 has announced that it is coming back, and it's going to be an all digital event. Now, this is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. This is, a lot of people say it's the Super Bowl of, in gaming that happens throughout the year. This is something that is, that shows off, all the new games, all the new tech, all the new electronics, big news. And generally what they do is they partner up with a bunch of leading people in the industry. So this is from the E3 official website, and it's a decent sized article that goes on about what it is and what they do. But one of the things I want to point out is that it says, it starts off saying, it's game on for E3 as the Entertainment Software Association, also known as the ESA, officially unveils plans for a reimagined all virtual E3 2021 that will engage video game fans everywhere. With early commitments from Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Bros. Games, and Koch Media, and more to come. E3 2021 will take place June 12th through June 15th. So a lot of good names on there. That's generally what happens. It's noticeable to see that things like Sony and EA are standing out from this list. They've kind of declared that they won't be a part of E3 anymore. Andrew, you see the list the same as I. Any of the names, I mean, I'm glad we have what we have committed so far. Anything stand out that's like kind of missing that probably should be on board by now?
Well, actually, there's two things there's a couple names that stand out as missing, but in particular, I want to highlight someone who is a part of it that I think is a standout, and that's Konami. Because Konami hasn't showed off a new Castlevania, a new Metal Gear. They haven't shown off any new games or anything like that since, I think, like Metal Gear Survive. It's all just been like little small, maybe a remaster of like a Castlevania.
Or selling something to somebody else so they can publish it.
Or like their pachinko machine bullshit or whatever. It hasn't been anything. So the fact that they're a big name that stand out on this list actually has me kind of hyped, because now there's been enough time to where they've probably been like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is how we're going to do this going forward, whether we're going to remake Metal Gear or add a new one to it, whatever. Same with the Castlevania series. They've got a lot of rich IP. So to see their name on there actually gave me a lot of hope, and that was something I was kind of more psyched about than anything else. Mm-hmm. But as far as missing, we've got no EA, there's no mention of PlayStation, no mention of Bandai Namco, who has, they do the Dark Souls franchise, they got all that stuff going on.
Just had Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a weird missing one too, because usually they're a part of it. Square Enix is not listed on there, and then of course I think I'd already said PlayStation, but PlayStation again.
Well, because even before, back in the day, Bethesda used to have its own thing, but I'm curious now how they're going to kind of wrap that in now that it's all Xbox owned, because one of the things that they have pointed out and said is that they are going to have live press conferences, but the crazier thing is that it's saying that this is going to be a 4-day long event, because Andrew and I were kind of sitting there speculating, going like, well, how do they do it? Do they run it as like a 4-hour block, like kind of how Microsoft had the other day, and did, it's one big thing, over the 4 days, or is it going to be a 24/7 live stream? So when they're saying, 4-day long event, I don't know if that's 24/7 or we're just going to have huge chunks of information. And I think I'd rather prefer it if it was, a few dedicated blocks per day, because I don't know how you fill up that much space. What do you think? Do you think it's just going to be a couple blocks? How do you define an all-day event?
I think they're going to do it like how they did it before. And I think before they even called it an all-day event, and it just ended at like 9 or something like that. Because even PlayStation, I think, would go, depending on where you live at, would go on at like 6, or if you're in the like UK or something like that, it's like 1 o'clock. So technically, that's all day for some people or whatever. Right. So I think it'll be the classical way that they do that. I think it's a little weird to do kind of like a live thing, especially since it's already being streamed out to everybody. I feel like everybody should kind of just make their own event and then throw it on there, as far as like whatever, like kind of pre-recorded, whatever. What's the point of doing it live anyways,
Well, I'm curious again what the format's going to look like, because if they kind of go that route where like, hey, let's make our little thing, and then just put it together in E3, well, then isn't that kind of what we've been getting all year long, just not put in one big show?
I kind of would prefer going back to the one big show method, because I hate the trickling of information, especially like last year when we had like the Summer of Games and stuff. It's cool to get that much information, but it's just so slow, and it's just a lot of, we ended up with like a lot of unnecessary shows that didn't show anything important, were boring, just a slog, or repeats of stuff we had already seen before, whereas I prefer just the, E3, Gamescom, and then maybe Microsoft and the Sony event, and Tokyo Game Show, and that's kind of it. Because I felt like that's enough throughout the year without making me feel like, okay, I'm watching the... Because especially, too, when it is a big game that you want to show off, like, let's say Halo Infinite or something like that, how many times am I going to want to see that at all these little fucking events? Like, there's only so many times I'm like, dude, I don't want to see anymore. Same thing with, like, Resident Evil 8 right now. I've seen that game to death and back with their own personal event, and, like, every little thing that they've done, that I don't want to see any more of that game. That game comes out a month from now, which is good, but I feel like I'd seen it like every little thing before that,
Yeah, and the other thing you got to make sure to remember is this is, a lot of people do, like I said, compared to the Super Bowl, this has to be the tightest and cleanest version. There's no way, like Andrew's saying, you don't regurgitate and recycle the same stuff you've been showing off all year. Like if Square Enix were to step in this, even though their name's, missing, you can't show us what you showed us at Square Presents, or if you do, it better be a new trailer, new gameplay. Microsoft showed off a lot, and they still have, they're reported to have another one in September. So like, what does Microsoft and all the studios that encompasses that show off that's going to be what E3? Because one of the main things about E3 that stand out is that this is usually when you see the best of the best. Yes, there are your Jeff Keighley, Game Awards. When we got to see the Xbox Series S announced. Their IGN does its Summer of Games. So, but E3 is what a lot of people look to as being the best of the best. So I would hope that anybody that jumps into this, Nintendo is rumored to have a huge Direct coming up. So, how do you separate what you're going to be doing throughout the rest of the year between what you want to show off at E3? And I really hope that a lot of these guys, especially, Konami, I'm curious what that's going to be. Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, what do these guys show? And I'm really hoping that none of it's stuff that we've already seen and kind of regurgitate the same trailers, the same announcements. I want brand new stuff. But Andrew, I wanted to ask you, did you hear about that rumor that some of this was going to be like a paywall gate? Because
no, I didn't hear that at all.
The president of the ESA, Stanley Pierre-Louis, I believe that's how it is, says that it will be completely free, because there was rumors going around that there was going to be a paywall for some of this event.
That would be stupid.
That would be, well, because you got to remember, the ESA makes its money off of E3. I think it's over half of their annual revenue comes from E3, and last year when it was canceled, they took that big old hit. All the lobbyists and stuff like that do these things for ESA, they took that hit. So when I heard it at first, as someone that's going to watch it, I was like, well, that's stupid. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, well, maybe are they trying to recoup something that they lost? Did they take that big of a financial hit that they have to now kind of recoup that? But he does come out and say that it is going to be completely free. So I was curious if you ever heard that at all.
No, I don't think that they could do that, specifically more because...
And what would you do it with? The live interviews?
Yeah. Even still, like, let's say they did pay, you got to pay to watch whatever the show is. How does that work out then? Because it's a live stream for all the channels like IGN, GameSpot, you know, whoever, that re-upload the footage afterwards of, oh, this was just announced, this was just announced. That is then, I wouldn't pay for it then because I'm just watching them. So now you're going to have to copyright, channel strike, IGN and all these other big fucking companies that are just going to say, okay, well, fuck you, we're just not going to cover your shit now, to where it makes no sense because I'm just going to watch all the re-uploaded footage. I'm not going to pay to watch your stuff.
Right. Watch all the videos that are like
depending on what it is.
E3 in 20 minutes.
If it was like $5 or $10, then sure, whatever. But if it's like $50 or something, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm curious where that kind of started from, or maybe if it was on the floor plan in the beginning that they were going to kind of do a build like that.
I'm sure it was discussed.
But yeah, I'm glad it is free, and again, it is the biggest event. You know, we're going to see what they do, you know, in a post, or not post, I guess, in a during pandemic year, but post their last year cancellation. You know, you got a whole year, now you got to come back. You know, I'm hoping that it's going to be the best of the best, because we're used to E3 being a very particular type of show, and, you know, will they be able to give us the goods? We'll see, because generally what that means is who's on board with them, and if, you know, who's on board is just, you know, these handful of, you know, maybe 10 companies are the only ones going to be it, then I wonder if it suffers any other damages. Because if Square Enix doesn't jump on board, you know, we already know that EA and Sony isn't going to be there. Does it lose anything by not having everybody on board?
I think that's what I don't think that it does, because I feel like there's a way to flesh it out, especially since Microsoft can still do a whole Bethesda event.
Dude, that could be a whole day. That could be a whole Friday.
Because they have like a whole, you know, whatever division. But out of the people that are missing, I think the only people who really kind of have the right to, I don't want to say have the right, but the only people who have proven so far, like, we can do it, is PlayStation. Because EA, even when they do E3, has always been notoriously like boring, has lulls.
Well, because now they do their EA plays, and you know.
And the last EA play still, it wasn't anything to like die for or anything like that. So for them to skip E3 to do that instead, I don't think makes any sense. Bandai Namco, I think the only big game they really have on the horizon is I can't think of the name, the one with the next from the Dark Souls. I can't think of the name right now. It's one of my most hyped games.
It starts with Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, yeah. Thank you. I completely blanked on the name.
Oh boy, that hurt.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that one.
Elden Ring is like their next big game. I don't think that they have anything as big as that, because it's not like they're doing Dark Souls or, you know, Bloodborne or anything like that, unless they announce a sequel. Square Enix can do something, but I don't think their last showing was that great at all, especially when they only showed like a tidbits of the stuff people really even came there to watch it. So PlayStation is the only person with that belt on that's like, okay, we've done our own events. They've been successes. We've had some that kind of aren't, but that can happen. But we have put out, you know, these big boy events that absolutely killed it, and we're better than whatever the E3 event was.
Well, because the other thing is that this thing comes in 2 months' time. You would think, though, because if Sony were to put out something that kind of, because we were talking
about it out a week before if I was them.
Do you think we would have heard about it by now, right? Or do you think they've got at least with 30 days
they've got
to announce something to say if they're going to put something out? So, yeah.
If I was them, I would do it the week before and be like, okay, we're going to put out something so good.
If they've got something.
Then that's going to steal all that.
If they've got, because right now, if Sony could steal the thunder, or at least, you know, most of it, if they announce like 3 solo titles coming out for the PS5. You know, something really, really good that makes PS5 own it. Because as of right now, what else could they talk about? I mean, yeah, they have VR going in a good direction.
God of War 2.
They could do a couple. They could, I guess, finally announce Ragnarok, God of War. But like, it's got to be something significant. Because if not, because Sony could completely remain dormant and quiet, and it wouldn't miss a beat. Like no one, you know, they don't have to do anything. But it'd be cool if they did something.
I think it would be better for them to proactively do something, especially if they're not going to be there. Because if Microsoft or anyone else comes out and well, more specifically Microsoft, then Nintendo comes out and has an amazing fucking showing, then everything, well, why is Sony so quiet? They don't have shit to show. Yeah, it's whatever. You're going to get another tidbit of God of War, 2 seconds of trailer, and it's garbage or whatever, you know, depending on whatever they show. So I think it might be the time for them to be proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, this could be Microsoft's best year too. But speaking of, I think Sony's got more on their plate to worry about than E3. So with that being said, guys, leave us your questions in the comments down below of what you think about what E3 is going to happen and where it's going, because we're moving into ripping it up. And I got to say, we're moving back into what I think Sony needs to try to figure out versus where Microsoft is coming in swinging, because we're talking about MLB The Show is officially coming to Xbox on the April 20th. 2021. But more importantly, it's coming to Game Pass day one. Now, the reason this is important is because for the longest time, it's been a Sony exclusive title. This has been an IP that has been the only baseball simulator since 2014. Sports games have a very weird, interaction with gamers because there's only so many of them that can be the official, right? There's only so many MLB official games. There's one official NFL game. So the fact that MLB The Show has been on Sony for so long and now it's coming to Xbox is huge, because for some players and some people that, when you buy a system for a game, some people, MLB The Show might have been the killer app that made you buy a PlayStation 3.
That's how my dad and my
or
uncle definitely were, just
PS4.
for the show.
So, a lot of people keep going, it's coming to Game Pass, why are they doing this, blah, 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 blah. But, there's interviews and stuff with, MLB talks with Microsoft way before they ever decide to put it on Game Pass. Like, there's deals in play and in action that they have to make sure and check all the boxes and go, yeah, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good, to even put it on Game Pass. So there's data showing that when certain games go on to the Game Pass, it showed that they sell quite well across all other platforms. So the reasoning is that I think MLB probably wants to put this in as many hands as they can and start getting people to start playing this game. But the other thing that's kind of funny of note is that this will be the first game that's from PlayStation on Xbox that has a PlayStation splash screen. So when you actually play it on Xbox, you will see I'm going to probably play a trailer right around here. You'll see it go Xbox and then it goes PlayStation and then it plays. And it's just one of those things that, Game Pass is moving beyond, consoles, and it's going beyond just brand, and it's literally just becoming its own thing. I mean, your overall thoughts, and we can dive a little further into it.
Well, I think they could it depends on how long they're going to have it on there for, too. I mean, that's always the big question, because they could literally put it on there for a month just to give everybody a taste and then take it off of there. I don't think anyone would really complain. Then you just go and buy it from there, because you had a full free month of that game to see whether you like it or not. But yeah, I mean, it's the only officially, licensed game. If I'm not playing as, the fucking Astros, then I might as well be playing Blitz or, fucking Slugfest with, made-up teams and made-up bullshit, because at that point, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, so the other thing that I kind of wanted to point out is that, like Andrew was saying, it may be on Game Pass for day one, for a month, but if you're on Sony, you're still paying $70 for this game.
Yeah,
and it's because. And the reason I'm kind of more focusing on the Game Pass is that we're kind of slowly evolving from Game Pass being, in-house studios, first party, getting day one launches. And then, because back in the day, it used to be 6 months, a year, third party would start kind of trickling in, right? You get day one Halos, and then 6 months, a year later, you get
Outriders.
We're starting to get Game Pass is starting to get day one games. We got Outriders. We've got MLB coming. So
$140 saved right there.
I think one of the big questions is how does Sony start kind of combating this, because Sony's kind of been hot water now with all the the PS3 store and all the PS Vita stuff kind of falling off. That everyone's going, well, how are you combating this? How are you why does Xbox now get it for free essentially, and we're over here paying $70? Where their answer really is PS Plus, which has some really cool games, but the subscription is only better if it's on PS5. And then you have PS Now, which has 400, 500 titles, I think. But it's all streaming, and their streaming is notoriously known for being bad. Sony needs to figure out something to combat that, and I don't know if they can do it quick enough or it will ever match, because Xbox just kind of has that money to put behind, developing Game Pass and doing these things. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but the fact that we have MLB coming to Xbox, at this point, does Xbox not kind of become the sports man's console?
Especially if it's going to
combine it with EA and all the other stuff, I mean, you've got nowhere to go but up.
Especially if it's going to be that for free, because they already have the EA Access bundled with it. And normally when you have EA Access, it gives you 5 to 10 hours of a free game. So you're playing the new Maddens, you can buy the new Maddens at a discount, that sort of thing. So yeah, you've already got all these sports games all under one thing already.
Yeah, so that's my riff, guys, with MLB The Show coming day one to Xbox. For the first time ever, you'll see the splash screen of Sony coming on to a Microsoft product, which Andrew, you've got more to say about the Game Pass, do you not?
Yeah, there's actually a rumor going around from the co-founder of Xbox Era. It goes by the name of Special Ed, I don't know why you would choose that name, but day one on Game Pass is that Battlefield 6 is going to be appearing on there, which wouldn't be so far-fetched. And you can take this either one way, that it's going to be on there for free is just some sort of deal that they made with EA, obviously. Or it could be like something that I just mentioned, where it is on there for free for a limited time, because generally when you have EA access, you get up to about like 10 hours of the game. So you can be playing online, you can do the story, or you can do whatever. But either way, that's still a pretty big deal to be able to play that game and, do whatever. Again, he said that there's going to be a new third-party game that's going to be coming in the fall, a AAA shooter, and the only thing rumored to be coming around that time stands in line to be Battlefield 6, which there's hopefully supposed to be announcing that soon. And hopefully turns out to be good.
Oh, yeah, because again, like we're saying, and if that's true, then again, more fuel to the fire that
Dude, that'd be huge.
It's just getting you big, huge juggernaut AAA titles day one that no one saw coming. But Andrew, Battlefield, the new one, 6, is this will be the first one since when? Like, when did the last one come out?
I think the last one was World War II, and it was like 2-3 years ago. And I think that one like fell off like significantly.
Would you want it to move to still be contemporary, or have they ever done like a futuristic battle kind of?
They have done a futuristic one. I hadn't played that one. That was before I got into Battlefield. I think that one's 2142 is what that one was called.
The new Call of Duty era, the World War II. Where would you want Battlefield to kind of move to?
I think I'd kind of want it to go like modern still, or maybe even modern with tech from like the next 20 to 30 years. I don't want to be using like laser guns or something like that, because they also still have like the Battlefront, which has like futuristic like shit like laser guns and stuff like that in there.
Nice, I like that. So that is the end of riffing it up. So guys, let's move into questions of the week. And if you guys want to submit a question, feel free to leave in the comments down below, and you can ask us about anything, whether it be video games, comic books, alcohol, movies, whatever you guys want. We will answer the questions. This one, guys, comes from Sheila T, and she says, "Great video, guys. Glad you are still doing giveaways." And the question is, X-ray vision, laser vision, or night vision? What would you pick and have complete control over? Thanks. And I was thinking about this earlier, Andrew, and we've got to define, I guess, what X-ray vision actually is. Because if it's by name X-ray vision, then shouldn't it really only be what an X-ray can do? Or, looking through a body and see like anomalies or weird things? Or is it the all-encompassing, like, because people get it confused when you hear X-ray vision. You think Superman's vision, they can just see through anything and see what he wants.
Layer by layer by layer by layer, yeah.
Gino wrote a funny comment, and he's like, "Oh, I would take X-ray vision and run a poker career." I'm like, well, does X-ray vision see through a card? Because if you had X-ray vision, wouldn't you just see through the card? Or at that point, are you able to look through layers and see? I've always been confused of what X-ray vision is. So how do you think?
I was taking it as like how Gino does, because she does have complete control, so I can see layer by layer.
But if it's by X-rays, then wouldn't you only be able to do what X-rays can do?
I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just the way they call it and how you name it, but I'm thinking like Superman's, like I can do layer by layer by layer.
So we're taking an X-ray vision.
But that's what I would choose, because if I had to take it in today's world, and if I'm the only one who has this ability, even if everyone had these abilities, X-ray is the most practical. I don't.
What are you doing? Are you looking through clothes? You looking through poker cards?
I can see what's in these comic boxes that we buy.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
But I mean, laser vision. I hate hot chocolate. What am I gonna do? Heat up my tea?
I'm not sure.
And then night vision, I can do anything.
I'm more interested in night vision, man, because my eyes are notoriously bad anyways. But if you could literally,
I think yours should just be regular vision.
I would never be afraid of the dark again.
20/20 vision for Craig.
You'd be able to look for, and see again, because I was asking Andrew earlier, would night vision just be like night vision goggles? Would you be able to switch it to be like predator mode, where you can see like thermal vision and things like that? So if I had complete control over it, I don't know. I think night vision.
I'll still take X-ray.
But X-ray, yeah. X-ray is just, because what else would you do with it to make money besides do poker?
I don't know. There's all kinds of. You could go buy like random boxes of stuff, and
you can buy random boxes of stuff. That's the big win.
I could go to Denny's fucking when they do those auctions, like fucking the Storage Wars auctions. I could already see what's in the storage. There's all kinds of shit you can do. I can become a doctor without even having to do an X-ray. Yeah, with these shaky hands and be like, tumor.
Ooh, there's the $1 million question. So it's a very interesting, and I like it because that's the part I like, is that you have complete control over it. Because if you are able to just kind of hone in and take advantage, I don't know what you get with Andrew saying. I don't know what you do with laser vision. Like,
you can heat up tea, coffee, cold food.
Yeah, I guess you'd never be cold again. But I think I would take night vision if I'm able to do exactly what I want with it, and X-ray vision for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. So that is the end of questions. Thank you so much for the questions, Sheila T. Let's move into the contest, guys. Now, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch Lite Aqua Blue in color. If you guys are interested in winning it, well, here is how you do it. You jump in the comments down below in episodes 83 to episode 90 and leave in the comments hashtag Switch Lite. That is your entry into the contest. We pull a comment out of each video between 83 to 90. On episode 91, Andrew and I will pull a name out of the hat and win. To enter it, you have to like the videos and you must be subscribed.
Yes, you must be subscribed. If you aren't, again, I say this every time, we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you, hey, subscribe, man, whatever. I'm not going to do you any sort of solid. You're fucked. Also, I would ideally turn on notifications because even I, as someone who's on the channel, I follow so many other people that this can get lost in the kerfluffle. So as soon as I have notifications turned on, as soon as Craig posts any sort of video or comic box openings, whatever, boom, instantly shows up on my feed and I go through, add it to my watch later, watch it right then, whatever it is, depending on where I'm at that time of day. So notifications are the most helpful thing.
Yeah, and I say if you've got people in your immediate family, have them make an account, have them enter for you. If you've got your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your brother, and your sister, and you all entering, there's 6 entries. And there's nothing, there's nothing in the rules against it. So get all your friends to enter it for you, and hopefully you guys can win the Switch Lite. And to answer a previous question that somebody wrote into our, I believe it was our Instagram, it's just the hardware. There's no game that's coming with it. So
if you want, though, I will break the screen for you before I send it out.
I've seen them do it. So guys, that is the end of this episode. Jump down in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts, your questions, any concerns you have. Let us know what you think about MLB The Show, what you think about Battlefield coming to the Game Pass, what you thought about E3 coming back all digitally. So until next time, my name is Craig Prowse, and that is Mandrew Montemare, Shiner Bock.
Do you think The Rock is too ripped?
I don't think he's that ripped. I think he's swole.
He's huge.
He's swole. He's not. I don't think he's ripped.
Well, do you think he's too big? That it makes his head look small?
Why, did you see his Instagram picture where his fucking legs, his thighs were just like tree trunks?
Yeah.
Dude. Do I think he is? No. Whoa. I mean, I guess for what, a 50-year-old, he's bigger than the average bear.
Do you think he looks better now, or he looked better like in his like prime as like the Scorpion King?
He's in his prime. He never left his prime. He's slowly gotten better.
His age prime.
Not
now he looks like
now.
too big, dude. He's fucking huge.
Dude, he's gargantuously huge.
Like, imagine just the upkeep on that. Like,
he's the boulder. The boulder is confused. Why is the Rock now smaller than he used to be? Yeah, he's huge, dude. I don't know.
So it showed up in my clips the other day, too, was that Baywatch reboot, but it was like him and Zac Efron doing like the tire lift and shit like that. And Zac Efron's all shredded.
Zac Efron's ripped.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking cut the fuck up in that video. But then you see The Rock, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, he's got to be juicing something good.
If you could start off tomorrow, like, being that shredded, and they said, here's what you got to do to keep it, do you think you can keep up with it?
No.
I couldn't either.
No, I don't have that kind of work ethic.
Fuck no.
I mean, if you're getting paid for it, because that's the thing you gotta remember, those guys get paid.
Oh, yeah. If I got paid to be shredded, if I didn't have to fucking work and my whole day consisted of going to the gym like twice, sure.
Yeah, we'd all look like Thor and fucking Henry Cavill. We'd look like Henry Cavill and Chris Hemsworth, Thor and Superman, huge as fuck. Because even in, like, and listen to those guys afterwards, when they, even Mac from Always Sunny, when they talk, they're always like, it's the hardest thing you have to do. You can't eat shit. You can't drink beer.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so difficult to keep that cut, that body. Where The Rock, which is why he's not like ripped. He's just big. He can eat whatever the fuck he wants because he just turns it into whatever. Where those guys like gotta stay cut.
Have you ever seen some of those people try to do like The Rock's like diet or whatever? I think, how many calories are you supposed to have in a day? Like 2,000?
I don't know.
I think it's like 2,000 and he has like 6,000 in like a day. And so like the morning it's like a shit ton of eggs and all kinds of stuff like that. And I think he's like eating a meal like every hour.
Yeah, because he'll eat fucking pasta and shit like that. He'll take all that shit in.
Dude,
Where
I don't even know if I could eat that much food in a fucking day. 6,000 calories.
you can if you're burning it. I mean, if you're not burning it, it just sits there. Then
Yeah.
it turns into fucking uselessness. But if you're burning it, then you're like the Flash. You're just fucking craving.
Snack hole.
You're craving fuel. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me that one.
Man.